If it ain't about the money. It's close. What's up? I love the sun. See how it just shines in the vehicle? As soon as it hits my skin, I want to do everything. Everything fun, that is. Hello, everyone. How is your day going so far? Good? I hope so. We're going to get into ADHD tips, and we're going to have a little brief conversation about it. Because as you know, or maybe you don't, I have ADHD. Yeah. I was diagnosed as an adult. I knew it was something unique about this brain in my dome. Talk about being misunderstood most of my life. You'd be surprised. Peep game though, you know? You gotta peep game sometime. So, the first thing I want to share with you is some of the challenges that I've struggled with as someone that's had ADHD as a child and didn't know I had it. Here's one. Staying in my seat. Yeah, that's a hard one. Sitting still for long periods of time, that's difficult. Because most of the time, my arousal is high. My energy is high. So most of the activities I wanted to engage in often had a lot to do with energetic activities, hobbies, anything that piqued my curiosity, which usually will revolve around, I guess you could say, things that everyone else understood better than me. You know, it was as a kid, it was really difficult because I was exposed to quite a bit of stuff, and behaviors and relationships and things that really was none of my childlike business, really. I'm being honest. And it was interesting in my experience, scary in my experience, very scary. Very scary. But I have a very unique relationship with fear and a very unique relationship with, I guess you could say, curiosity. So most of the time, I would wind up allowing my curiosity to lead me. And that was proven to be a double-edged sword. Sometimes it would lead me into situations where I learned something new and useful. Other times, it got me into trouble. Or drama situations that I couldn't get myself out of because of me being a people pleaser as well. So the struggle was real. You know what I mean? So, and another thing was stimming. I'm not sure if you know what stimming is all about. But I have some information here, and I'm going to read it off. So, ADHD stimming. So, it's basically self-stimulatory behavior. Ooh. Is when a person with attention deficit / hyperactivity disorder unconsciously repeats certain movements or sounds. Listen, stimming is my middle name. On random, I could do something like that. And honestly, I've been called retarded. I've been called weirdo. You name it, I've been called it. You know, starting as a young girl. And unfortunately, I normalized that. You know? And it caused me to have trouble identifying without the names society, family members / friends, etc. put on me. But because most of the people in my circle experienced me, I guess, the same or similar, I assumed maybe they were right. So I would own a lot of that negativity. And then with me being high arousal, I'm very happy. I could barely have anything and not find a reason to be happy about it. And that wind up being bittersweet. You know what I'm saying? Because not everybody is like that. Not everybody can just be happy if they don't feel like they have a reason to be. So can you imagine how drained I've been around people that suffer with depression, people that are basically this self-sabotage, people that just, boy, they did a number on me. Come on now. We got to do better. You know what I'm saying? We got to do better as a society, as a people, as parents, as family. We got to do better. You know how many people have things on their heart, on their mind that they haven't even spoke of out of fear of rejection. Come on now. Come on now. Of fear of judgment. All this fear. And we know who pumped us full of that, right? Oh, you don't? Looks like you got homework to do. Do your homework, people. So with all that fear in the way, oh yeah, my mom getting her nails done. So it's one of those videos again. I'm sitting here, I'm on, what's this? Cotman. Yeah, Cotman in Philadelphia. Cotman Boulevard. So yeah, trust me, the struggle is real with ADHD. And please forgive me if I go off topic. I allow my brain to do things, and I don't guilt trip myself. I only human, So back to stimming. Now, some ADHD stimming examples are humming, pacing, teeth grinding, and rocking. And there are many others. I definitely do the rocking. I do the fidgeting, wiggling of my toes. And a lot of times what I would do, because of the fact that I had trouble sitting still, and most of the time, I get into trouble because I would not sit still. So a lot of times I would teach my fidget to go down to my feet. So if I have sneakers on, no one will see me fidgeting. They don't see me wiggling my toes in my shoes. This is how I would hide my challenges so I appear more normal, or so they call it. Just giving me all this shame just because you don't understand me. Isn't it amazing how people put their stuff on you? They're there. We ain't finna do none of that no more, are we now? Come on now. So yeah, I do a lot of the stimming. And my oldest child, she also has ADHD. But because my mother was in my life, there were certain behaviors of mine that my mother recognized in my daughter. And of course my mom, she didn't know about ADHD, not back then. Information is getting better as time goes on. But when we go back, like to my mom, her mom, yeah. That's a serious injustice that's been done to the people of color and a lot of people, really. When it comes to knowledge, information, it just was not simply a thing to educate people that look like me. So, yeah, I'm not surprised communities have failed. Poverty's a thing. Robbing Peter to pay Paul. Yeah, sounds about right. But please believe me, these tips can be very helpful. That's why I'm sharing my story. Knowledge is useless unless it's shared and utilized. You got to actually apply the knowledge, or else what's the point? What's the point of knowing a bunch of information that can change the world if you ain't going to use it? You got to make that make sense. Oh, come on, ambulance, go save some lives. Pardon me. That was a little bit drawn. Let's get back into it. Now, the reasons for stimming can vary depending on the person and the environment, y'all. It's thought that in ADHD, these behaviors may come from a need to improve focus, self-soothe, or channel energy. Right. Stimming is normal in ADHD, but can be problematic if it disrupts everyday functioning or results in self-harm or injury. Medication, self-control techniques, and environmental changes may help. Stimming is it can be problematic when you're a kid in school, because that's when a lot of it is happening. You know what I'm saying? So then if we're misrepresented, for example, I'll use myself. I was a kid in school. I'll go back to kindergarten, the stories that my mom tell me, and some of the things I can remember. If my mom dressed me in a skirt with stockings, I got holes in my stockings by the end of the day. Why? I'm crawling on the floor. I'm the class clown. It's hard for me to stay in my seat, let alone stay focused on a subject. I had no clue I was struggling with anything. I'm just thinking I'm being, a regular kid. But just to normalize it, I'm going to say ADHD is normal. I'm going to normalize it. So many people, men, women, children have it. Let's stop looking at it like it's the plague. Just because you don't understand it, and you may be too lazy to educate yourself on it because you don't want to understand it. You just want to judge people. That sounds like a personal problem. I don't have those kind of problems. When I don't know something, especially if it's right in my face, guess what I do? Research. Wouldn't it be a beautiful world if we all had that mindset? Instead of run to judgment, we research things to understand it better. Research behavior, human behavior, animal behavior. It doesn't matter what the behavior, just research it. Mess around and learn something you didn't know. Oh, that'd be beautiful. That's what I practice. And I make sure that my kids know it too. Some ways they're very annoyed with me. They find me to be fun, but too into education. That breaks my heart, really. But I get what they're saying. I get what they're saying. When you a kid, you ain't trying to be. You ain't. Some kids, come on now, don't hit my car. Oh God, that was a pickup truck, y'all. He almost took me out of here. Some kids are really good with learning and reading and things like that, but not every kid is like that. You know what I'm saying? And my children, me and my husband did very well providing them a childhood. My whole family was involved with raising my children and being there and being a part of their lives. My children are very fortunate to actually have had a childhood where I wasn't struggling and they felt like they needed to get a job to help mom pay the bills. Not every kid has that. I did not have that story. You see what I'm saying? So I think parents have a challenge there, right there, where they'll want to provide their child with a better life than they had. And then we're not even thinking what that might translate to. That we might not even understand what we're looking at in our children. We can't relate. You see what I'm saying? You can't, if you come from the struggle, I mean, like, I don't know, your mom is an alcoholic, your dad's on crack, or maybe you got a functioning alcoholic for a dad, or yeah, you come from the struggle, baby. You understand what I'm saying? You gotta learn to adult early because your parents are ineffective in some way. See, my kids didn't have that problem. So in certain ways that they came off to me as too spoiled. And I didn't really get it. I really didn't. I didn't really understand when you raise a child and you give them a safe place to grow up in, when you give them a voice and you're not just talking at them, you talk to them, you allow them to respond to you, you allow them to express how they feel. All of this stuff would trigger me. It would trigger me like crazy. And you know why? Because I didn't do all the homework I needed to do when it came to prepping myself becoming a parent. And a lot of us are guilty of that. I know most people won't admit it, but I'll admit it. I practice accountability. That's another thing that separates me from most people, especially women. You know how many women I've been around that lack accountability? They love to blame everyone except themselves. Yeah, it's everybody's fault except theirs. I don't like dealing with women like that. Personally. No shade, no smoke. just, I like to hang around like-minded individuals, and I don't like to come off disrespectful when it comes to if I'm around someone that's like my polar opposite and they're immature, especially like emotionally immature. I know all about that because that's what I am, and I do a lot of hard work every day. I can't skip one day of doing this type of work because of my emotional immaturity, and then because I come from all kind of struggle, it makes it even more challenging. So every day I'm doing self-work. Every day. Every day. You know what I mean? And then with, you know, me being an ADHDer, I have certain things that I've learned about having ADHD that makes you a superhero. You know what I mean? And I want to get that out there too. Because ADHD's been getting a bad rep, especially in boys and men. Ooh, my heart go out to y'all. Oh my God. Oh my God. I gotta make a comment on this. Anybody that's assuming there's any men that have ADHD and they're aware of it, or boys that are watching this live, I send prayers to you. Sending love your way. This is not going to be easy. Success is not going to be easy for you. It really is not. Because what I'm learning more and more is the men in this country that I live in, a lot of them have injuries that are unjust. There, I said it. And that's my opinion. Men have very little support, and that's unfair. Especially since women run around and want the attention of men. You want the attention of the very species that's endangered and targeted. Makes perfect sense to not help them. Why would we be doing that? And then it gets better. And blame them for why all the women are miserable. Bye, Felicia, on that one. We're not about to do this. It takes two. Sorry, ladies. Had to say it. Takes two. We have to start thinking about programs or trying to get some type of mentorship or some type of support for our brothers out here. Brothers from other mothers. Brothers of all color. You know what I'm saying? A man's job is a great job. And I am not taking away from the woman. I'm just trying to give the men the moment they deserve. Because they're overlooked. It's trifling. I don't like it. I don't like it. I have a son. My son is struggling. But at least he has me. But what he's struggling with is the dynamic. It's my alarm clock. Yeah, I got alarm clocks. A lot of them. I need reminders. I can't keep much up here for too long. And really, rightfully so, with so many responsibilities that we have as adults, we need that type of help. You try to remember everything in the world that it is today, you finna stress the heck out. Don't do that to yourself. Set up an alarm and let that joint remember for you sometime. But back to what I was saying. Men and boys, they get a bad rep in this country. A lot of it really it's worldwide. But in certain places that I've been doing research, some is worse than others. But definitely in the United States is some things that I'm not happy about. Especially when it comes to the men and the boys. If they have such a leadership position, don't you think we should invest more in giving them support? Instead of talking about them, talking at them? Because a lot of the times, if the man is not functioning, the household is struggling beyond measure. And I'm not saying it won't struggle if the woman is not on point. We talking about the man right now. I need y'all to keep up with me, okay? The man needs support. He just always has. I don't know if you exposed yourself to the Willie Lynch speech, but even you can go back beyond that when it comes to certain bits of information. Really, we got to expose ourselves to knowledge. The first book y'all need to buy would be a passport. Get a passport and expose yourself to other countries. I promise you, you're going to be blown away. The difference is amazing. I'm pissed about it. You know what I'm saying? Talk about living in the box is a disrespect. No wonder other like ethnic groups or people that are not from the United States, no wonder they look down on a lot of people from the US. Talk about being watered and dumbed down by our own government. The disrespect. Research, people. I'm not giving anything out. I don't want nobody, listen, I'll even throw in this is for entertainment purposes only. You know, they quick to block you. We gotta travel. Gotta travel, you gotta expose yourself. The knowledge is there. We just don't have it. So let's expose ourselves to it. Once you expose yourself, it's no going back. I mean, you could try, but once you upgrade, it's hard to downgrade because you already upgraded yourself. You have the knowledge. You just innately have to use it. You know what I mean? And that's where I am. I'm very comfortable in my skin, as you can see, especially when it comes to my content. You know, I try to be appropriate. I try to be as appropriate as possible because I can get a little, I'll just say unique. That's not even touching the word I really want to say, but we'll say unique. Okay? But getting back to the point of ADHD. Now, stemming, like I said, on occasion I'll definitely struggle with it, but sometimes more than others. But now at the space that I'm in, I'm a lot more controlled. But when I was younger, that was difficult. I was very reactive. And my abuser set me up to be that way. I love him very dearly. But unfortunately, he was sick. And he was toxic. And he did not know how to raise a family. He didn't. And a lot of men don't. This is my point exactly. The expectation is for them to raise a family. Oh, do this. Oh, do that. You ain't a good father. What help are we giving to the men? In what way are we holding them accountable? Let's even go deeper. I'll use myself as an example because you know some people are very sensitive. When it comes to my children, I have a 21-year-old. I have a 19-year-old. I have two 17-year-olds. You understand what I'm saying? That are about to be 18 December. Now, that wasn't because, oh, I'm done. That means all my children will be actually like legal adults, so I can upgrade to a different level of parenting. What I like to call as needed mentorship. So for me, that's a wonderful thing because I actually put that work in. I put that time in. I put my kids first. Period. Was it easy? Let me think. No. Are you kidding me? No, it wasn't easy. Especially being as though I didn't know who I was, how I was, when I was, if I was, ... I've been controlled for quite some time. I just was ignorant to the fact. You know what I mean? And I had a lot of codependent relationships. I didn't realize that. I had a lot of trauma bonds on top of having ADHD. I was programmed to be a people pleaser on top of all that. Then I became the black sheep to my abuser. That way the attention would get off of him and put back on me. In the meantime, he's exposing me like crazy and then not factoring it in, let alone not teaching me what I'm looking at. So me having to figure all this out, you can only imagine the hot mess. Like here's one example as an ADHDer. HSP, highly sensitive person. Oh my God. My nervous system has taken a hit, y'all. It's boom, 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 taking a hit, y'all. You understand what I'm saying? Between trauma, complex trauma, being an ADHDer, heightened sensory, highly sensitive person. Listen. Listen. Talk about reactive. Very reactive. Like, don't walk up behind me, you might get punched in the face type of reactive. Like startle responses. This is everything that I've worked through and I'm working through. Psychotherapy helps if we let it. Therapy helps if you're open to it. So don't waste your time trying to look for therapy if you think they're supposed to tell you what to do. If you don't really want to go, don't waste your time. Don't even go. Don't go. Learn to measure your own mistakes. Rock out. But don't waste your own time. What's the point? Who you trying to please? Who you trying to please? Like, it should be about yourself. Don't waste your time. Don't waste a therapist's time. Self-evaluate and quit looking for so many saviors. No one's going to save you. This is true. It's unfortunate. My heart goes out. But it's very true. No one's going to save you. No one's going to save you. It's not going to happen. So the best thing that we can do as a people is hold our own selves accountable. Because what I've noticed is no one likes to be confronted. No one likes to be proven wrong. Most people are reactive and in their feelings about being wrong. So if you can't handle that type of heat, sounds like you need to be holding yourself accountable. Sounds like you need to be leading a life where you won't get any smoke. But how many people are actually doing that? How many people actually know how to do that? Right. We got work to do, y'all. I'm telling you. I cannot make this up. It's like a hot mess. It really is. And for me, I want to see the world doing better. I know I can create unity. I'm very consistent and very positive. And I'm not looking for handouts. I'm not looking for codependent relationships. I'm not looking for someone to come save me. I'm my own savior. I is gifted. I is gifted, baby. You understand what I'm saying? I is gifted. Hello, Anthony. It's nice to see you. Now, back to ADHD. One of the things that I struggled with that affected my ADHD was when I learned about sex way too young. And my abuser did not give me, I guess you could say, healthy measures of intimacy. We talking before sexual intimacy. Let's take sex, all that out. We talking about what? A 4, 5, 6-year-old girl. Trying to go back to where I can remember. Of course, I've heard some stories when I was much younger than that where he kind of really had me in situations that CYS could have got involved. But let's keep it on what I'm talking about. So when it came to my abuser, he did things like have sex where I can see him. He's done things like do drugs where I can see him. When he would hug me, he would squeeze me. He was very athletic. He was very strong. He would squeeze me and it would hurt. Long story short, regular intimacy that a young girl needs from a male role model is very important. It's very important for a man to teach his daughter or a man to teach a girl that is a trusted adult intimacy before she learns sexual intimacy. A lot of women have this injury. Research it. And I can read behavior very well. That got nothing to do with nothing, but I just wanted to throw that in. So when it came to me as a young girl, that was what I seeked out. Especially like in my male friends, intimacy. Handshakes, hugs. I was not given that in a way that was healthy for me. You hear the horn? It's almost like they know I'm doing a live. They said, let's make it difficult. Stop with the horns. They got a red light. I don't know what the beeping is. The road rage in Philly, listen. You got to be ready when you come driving in Philly streets. Because boy, oi, oi. But for me, I used to seek it out often. And I didn't understand why I was so thirsty for like a hug. And then this is the problem. Once a young girl grows up and reaches a certain age and she starts getting into boys, almost instantly it's taken, oh, she's trying to hoe. Oh, she's trying to have sex. Oh, she's trying to. And that was put on me as well. Never mind the fact I lost my virginity between the ages of 16 and 17. I've been called a hoe since I've been like 8. Yeah. By the trusted male influence in my life. So, yeah. That made things difficult when it came to me identifying as a young girl. You know, being called a hoe by a very important person in your life is a real blow on the self-esteem, first of all. Come on now. You can't expect so much from a child. You just can't. Unless you unhealthy as ever and in denial. I vote in denial. So many people are in denial and running from their childhood trauma, complex trauma, adult trauma. Don't want to face anything because our nervous systems are rattled. You know what I'm saying? But back to me. So I used to seek out friendships often. I think it was my mom. She called me Casper. Because I like the friendly ghost. And then somebody called me Gulliver. Because a lot of times, I've always been tall and bigger than most kids. Especially kids my age. So, for whatever reason, I would gravitate to kids that were younger than I was. And I didn't even understand that. I do now. But I would gravitate to, so if I was like, I don't know, if I was like 14, a lot of the times I would attract kids that's like 12 and 10 and 11 and, you know, and it would be very validating for me because I was pretty massively bullied as well. I had a very unique bounce back to bullying. I tried fitting in. I quickly learned I do not fit in. I am uniquely different. It ain't happening. So I chucked that when I was in middle school. By the time I got to 9th grade, I simply didn't care. But I still was seeking out a lot of intimacy from boys. And no, it was not sexual in nature. But unfortunately, because of boys and the things that go on when it comes to toxic masculinity, a lot of boys will see a girl trying to be friendly and assume it to be sexual. So yeah, I had a lot of run-ins with dudes that's thinking, oh, she must want to. No, I don't. You're doing a lot. Or I had like a high arousal reaction to a guy that I found attractive when I was a teenager. Like, I would be on one of these like, oh my God, he fine as die. Why is he so fine? And I wouldn't be able to get over it. Didn't understand that about myself either. I can go on for days. I used to, and it's crazy how this stuff translates when you have a wound. When you have a childhood trauma wound and you're not getting the stimulation that you need from whoever your guardian is, the brain has very unique ways that it helps the child get that need met. And this can be dangerous, as we all know as parents. You go and being thirsty for certain things, you go looking for it with the wrong person, kidnap, rape, trafficking, all of the above. You know what I mean? I was in danger of all those type of things. Thank God nothing like that happened to me. But he really had me out in these streets thirsty for intimacy because of how he was treating me and how he was exposing me and then not telling my mom what needed to be told. Like, oh yeah, I had Nisha around me while I was doing crack. I had Nisha around me while I was cheating on you with this woman. She saw me boning. You might want to explain to her what that was, because I didn't stop boning to tell her get out the room. She just stood there in the doorway watching me. Like, things like this influence a child. So I had to figure these things out on top of having ADHD, on top of being controlled by fear, on top of being controlled by guilt, on top of being my youngest sibling's codependent because she disassociates. She has the trauma. I won't tell her story. That's for her to tell, assuming she'll ever get to the place where she can tell her story and get the help that she needs. I love her dearly. Hope she hears this. But had to break our trauma bond. Yeah, he was responsible for that. Me and you were trauma bonded, baby. Yeah, I know. Messed up, right? He was supposed to care about us. Yeah, that part. He was supposed to be there for us. Yeah, that part. a lot of that venom went to the parent that was available. How many parents can vouch with me with that one? When the child is yearning for the absent parent, who gets most to smoke? The available parent. That's a problem, people. Because now the parent that is trying to do the best they can, they're being over stressed out by the child that's yearning, longing for the parent's love, affection, intimacy that is unavailable. And my younger sibling suffered because it was certain things that he provided in her earlier ages that he denied her, basically, because he struggled. So for me, I struggle. All of us struggle in some type of way. And it's unjust because certain things could have been done, like 302s. Sure, the system is not the greatest. Sometimes if CYS is involved, some children might have a horror story. And I've read a lot of them where they get sent to a foster place and get even more abused. This happens, unfortunately. But I would never be the one to say, don't make the call. Because not making the call is dangerous too. Double-edged sword. Decision has to be made. You don't sit and allow someone to bring a whole family down. You got court systems failing families. Police failing families. You know how many times the police was called when I was growing up and this man still was not taken? Like, seriously. I've even taken my abuser to court for domestic violence. Yeah, I was 18. Never forget it. Watched him perform like he was a professional. Hot mess, people. I'm just 18 at this time. I also took my rapist to court when I was 18. Yeah, I've been holding people accountable for quite some time and getting a lot of smoke about it. But do it look like I care? Nah, I don't. Because I'm not doing it for approval. I approve of me. And that's all I need. And God, you know what I mean? I'm cool right there. I don't need no new friends or no new people judging me harshly. Because first of all, I'm not interested in negative criticism. I actually developed a third ear. That's a whole nother life. But yeah, it doesn't bother me at all. Everyone's entitled to their opinions. But we literally have to do better with picking our circles. Accountability has to start going on more often. We got to stop victimizing ourselves as well. I used to do that. Unfortunately, I was taught to do that ignorantly. And I've been mindless for over 2 decades. Still programmed by certain family members that I didn't know I was programmed to. All because when I was very young, my male abuser programmed me to be quiet while he cheated and did things that he was not supposed to do. And being as though I was young, the assumption was she's too young to understand. She's too young to say anything. But I'm not too young to be confused, my man. What's happening here? You know what I'm saying? What's happening here? Why does this lady's son keep touching me in my private areas? Why he keep trying to touch her too? Like, why can't I go to sleep when we got to spend the night over here without being molested by this 11-year-old? And I'm 8. And she even younger than me. And I got to be her security guard. And I literally grew up with that job mindlessly. And nothing was said to my mother. Nothing. I don't even think this abuser of mine was 302 by family members. And he damn sure should have been. How many family members do you know have someone that is actively a narcissist, actively showing signs of child abuse, and you not doing or saying anything about it? You having all these family meetings, talking in circles around the problem. How does that work? Like, what are you doing? How is that fixing anything? In the meantime, this man is a survival mode brain, because you have people that can live and maintain. You know, they're detail oriented. They can, maintain a 9 to 5 and all that good stuff. But then you have unique brains like mine. And then a lot of men have unique brains where they're a survival mode brain. And they actually have to go to, it'll benefit them to go to like cognitive therapy. It'll benefit them to have an empath raise them, because they're sociopaths. They don't understand sympathy and empathy. You know how many people in families are like that? And those people are literally tiptoed around because no one can handle them. I can. Call me cocky, whatever. I've been already called for certain family emergencies, and I show up every time. You dig me? Every time. Because I'm about that life. I'm not scared at all. It doesn't matter what the person has. They could be bipolar. They could be schizophrenic. They could be ADHD. I'm a humanitarian within my core. I work for the people. You dig what I'm saying? Always have. And I just needed time to separate from my trauma bonds to understand the glory that is Kanisha and how I show up on this God's green earth. And it's a beautiful thing. I've found my purpose. And we all have one, spiritually. I know it can be difficult to find that because we are living in this colonial mindset built world with injustice going on, poverty, all kind of things that can make you just want to cry. I get it. I get it. We're tired. We're overworked. We're overlooked. We are not united. There is no fairness. We step over the poor and we keep the rich rich, and we stress out and overwork the middle class. What the hell? Something's got to change. I am all about positive change, people. So take that in. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to drop as much gold as I can in this live. You understand? And tell your friends about me, my nigga. Yeah? Tell them. I'm here for it. You know what I'm saying? So, here's some ADHD symptoms that you'll find in women. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this is going to get good. It's going to get good. Now, for women with ADHD, symptoms of inattention are often more noticeable in a structured environment, y'all. Such as like colleagues or the workplace. Coping strategies used to compensate in grade school may be harder to maintain in these settings. So women with inattentive ADHD often manifest with symptoms like being repeatedly called out on careless mistakes, inability to multitask or manage multiple relationships. That was me. I would struggle. Even though I would still try, it was hard. Multitasking is very difficult because the memory loss. The short-term memory is affected by my lack of cognitive functioning. So basically, scientifically, neurons carry messages to the next neuron to get it to that part of the brain that we need to function. So when it comes to our cognitive abilities as ADHDers, the cognitive brain is not working the way it could. So sometimes the neuron will disappear and we'll get stuck. Or maybe it'll affect the memory portion, where if we given a job where we got to multitask, we'll start those jobs and not finish them. It's hard for us to remember to get back to something. And that is legit. That's not, oh, I'm just trying to be lazy. Oh, I really don't want to do it. Not to be mistaken with the fact that we can be very lazy to what is not stimulating to us. We don't get the right amount of dopamine when it comes to pleasure and the will to want to do something that does not feel fun. If it doesn't grab our attention, it is very hard to force caring about it. Chemically, research it. This is a thing. So when you a child, can you imagine if you at school and let's say your next class is social studies and you hate it? Do you know how hard that child is going to struggle with ADHD in that class? Don't be surprised if they make D's and F's. Don't spank them. Don't even yell at them. They need cognitive therapy. And maybe even looking into a school that's more interactive. Because really, my opinion, we could benefit off investing in schools being built that are more interactive, that have the option for the students to stand up or sit down. Because the kids with ADHD might want to stand up, because it's hard for us to just sit in a seat and sit there. Can you imagine if you have all this adrenaline and your arousal's up, you excited, and somebody say, sit over there and don't move? Come on now. Is that fair? No, it ain't fair. Come on. That is not fair. And it's very hard to do chemically when it comes to our brain functionality. But how many people even factor that in? No, not many. People are still talking down on them, especially men. Apparently, just because a man is a man, he's supposed to just have himself together. You know how many men I know was raised by abusive mothers? They got a whole mother wound. ADHDers now. And most men that's ADHDers, oh my God, they love their moms because they're highly sensitive men. Now, what's the standard? If a man acts on his feelings, he's a what? The P word, the B word, man up, acting like a girl. That's the problem. There, I said it. That's the problem. A sensitive man, when it's appropriate to be sensitive, should not be looked at as gay, weak. Not saying there's nothing wrong with gay. I'm just saying, to like a heterosexual male or something, if he's straight and someone calling him gay because he's sensitive, he's offended. You're shaming all these men because they're highly sensitive and they're pretending they're not. Research it. I did. And I challenged the research. You got to do your homework. Highly sensitive men struggle the most because most of them are pretending they're not in their feelings. And then if they were raised by a mother, and like, let's say a mother only. Let's say this mother decided to tap into mostly her masculine energy and not her feminine because she thinks she needs to do that to raise her son. Wrong. A woman needs to be both masculine and feminine for her son. We are responsible for our son's heart. If you can't access that soft part of you, do you realize the injury you giving your boy? Oh my God. First of all, you're going to cause him to struggle when it comes to picking a woman. You're going to pick the wrong woman. But straight off the top, just because of, by default, the type of mother he had. Let alone if she was the type of mom that curses him out, calls him mother effers, hitting him in public, just demasculating the boy. And then he's supposed to grow up and know what a man is supposed to be doing. If you don't get out my face with that, old news. Do better. I'm not impressed. Nope, I ain't trying to hear it. I come from the struggle and I found ways to educate myself. It is no excuse. It's pure laziness. There's a lot of women out here lazy. You want to be celebrated as great mothers, but you destroying our men, starting with your sons. Miss me with it. That's just how I feel. I've watched some boys be destroyed and I am not a fan of it. Not at all. Not at all. I'm pro-man. White man, Chinese man, black man, Indian man. I'm pro-man. Huh? Pro-man. I am not the woman, oh, I don't need a man. No, I do. We do. We need each other. If we didn't need a man, why you think God created him first, my nigga? What is you talking about? Like, what is you talking about? This woman feminist stuff is going way too far. Like, stop. The women are way too masculine, including myself, but I'm an exception, y'all. My abuser trained me to be like this. For whatever reason, whenever I would be softer, he was triggered. For whatever reason, that caused him to call me a hoe and acting like a, and so I would just innately be more of a tomboy, and it was approved by him. So I had a wound I had to fix. That wasn't my fault. I didn't put that there. And I damn sure wasn't told about it. I had to learn the hard way. Like most of us. But I'm here for all that. You know what I'm saying? Why you think I'm having this live? I'm about to talk about bull crap. We gonna talk about some real issues. So this ain't for the weak. If I offended you, I apologize. You should swipe now because I'm not changing my tune. Respectfully. This isn't me coming. This is a full-fledged rant. Because I'm about this life. You know what I mean? I'm not just a speaker. I don't just run my mouth. I can back it up with action. I'm tired of that too. There's a lot of people that want to run their mouth. You want to sit and have all these talks and these intense group sessions, and you're doing no work when it comes to getting the problem, fixing the problem. You just running your mouth. I'm going to need you to shut up and do something. Eh? You want to go in and do something? Huh? You don't? Then I'll do something. As you can see, my content that I post is very unique. Very unique. I'm very authentic. And most of the stuff that I post, some people told me I shouldn't post that. It might not get enough views. I'm not doing it for the views. I'm doing it for the exposure and the awareness and the spread of knowledge. I'm not interested in becoming popular. Huh? But I don't mind being famous for the right reasons. I want to do things like show empathy, show sympathy, donate directly to the source. Because a lot of donations be getting stolen. They don't go where they need to go. Y'all know what I mean. People got their hand in the bag. Like, let me get a new yacht with this. Like, that ain't for your yacht. That's for the people. You know what? Like, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Back to, I know I went a little rogue. That's going to happen. You understand what I'm saying? This is another thing when it comes to ADHDers. We speak an emotional tongue. That is difficult because most people with cognitive ability, brain functioning as well, they're logical for the most part if they're healthy. So they can speak logically. We come into the table with 100% feelings, which is why it's difficult for y'all to have a conversation with us because we in our feelings. And if we grew up invalidated, it's even worse. You see, this is a lot of the issues that we see in today. How many families have ADHDers in it and don't nobody want to be bothered with them? But you love to hate us. We're entertaining bad and we're very gifted, but we can be very annoying. Don't clean up after ourselves. The stimming can be a problem. Randomly blurting things out, yelling, won't sit still, moving from one place to another. It's a lot of challenges that come with it. And then don't let us be the ones that are drug addicted because we're self-soothing using substance or alcohol to make ourselves less all over the place emotionally because we don't know how to emotionally regulate. Maybe we were raised by parents that was ignorant to the fact. They didn't know we had ADHD. So maybe they're parenting us as if we don't have an ADHD brain. And we do. So what you're teaching us does not really apply, which is why we ain't feeling you. It's all about raising your knowledge and learning what you must so you can do what you need to do. Because these children, they're lost. I was lost. I was lost. My mom tried to help, but she has a lot of stuff that ailed her. You know, we are very broken people here, you know? Not just me, a lot of us. There's not enough understanding going on. There's not enough of us showing up with patience for one another. We talk too much crap, too much gossip. We don't ask enough questions because people don't want to understand. They want to judge. We all running around here creating alter egos to survive our adult life because we didn't check them when we created them as children. Research it. You know how many adults are still walking around doing what they did when they was a teenager? That's one of the relationships, close family relationships, I had to recently let go of. This woman was imploding her life and taking me along for the ride and guilt tripping me if I did not help her or if I said something she didn't like. I'm trying to evolve and be a better, I guess you could say a better family member to her because I wasn't in the past because of my abuser. We had a trauma bond and she was codependent to me. She was lower arousal. So me being high arousal, impulsive, I always knew how to create games, play games. I was very active, and she would get bored easily. You see that dynamic in raising some of your kids? Yeah. So the ADHDer, and then the low arousal sibling, or the low arousal cousin, or whatever the family member. They seek out the high energiers because we're entertaining. Whether they think we're retarded or lit, doesn't matter. We're entertaining. So a lot of times people will take what comes with us, which is disorganization. We got a lot of challenges. I'll admit that. We got a lot of challenges, y'all. A lot. You know what I mean? And it just is worse if we don't know we have ADHD. It's that much worse. So, awareness is so important. It really is. Like, at the end of the day, if we don't care about each other more, we going to wait for the government to care? Good luck with that. Like, seriously. Good luck with that. I'm not finna wait. Getting back to those ADHD symptoms in women. Missing deadlines. That was me like a mug. I was 10 minutes late everywhere I was going. Kids' appointments. And I couldn't understand for the life of me why. I would have trouble sleeping late. Insomnia. I struggled sleeping. Bad. And a lot of it came from the insomnia, the exposure that my abuser kept. There was always something. If he wasn't strolling in late, creating arguments so he could disappear, blaming me for something. The famous thing was me in a boy's face. I was the hoe. That was the favorite thing to come arguing with my mother about catching me. Oh, they're hoeing around, this and that. Meantime, I'm a virgin. Hoeing around, this and that got me. Yeah, I wonder why. Why you think a young girl would be interested more in friendships with boys? Number one, I had challenges with girls a lot, even though I didn't mind. But for whatever reason, they were catty. Either they wanted to bust on me, or they thought I wanted their boyfriend. Or I was like, look, y'all doing a lot. I still would try to make friends with girls when I was, in high school. But a lot of times I just would rock out with my sister. It was me and Tara against all them chicks. Like, look, go away. Y'all got a lot of drama and insecurities, and I ain't here for it. So I was more family oriented. But by default, because, I'm attractive and I was an attractive girl, a lot of times I attracted older men. Yeah, that's an issue too. So, like if my mother gave me a note to go to the store, which is very helpful. If you have ADHD children, give them a grocery list. Do not just try to tell them and hope they remember. Do them the solid and write a note. That is half the battle right there. And teach them how to carry a wallet if it's a son, a pocketbook if it's a girl. And teach them that keep that with you at all times, because we're forgetful. You'll put that joint down and forget it on the bus. Put your wallet down, forgot it in the couch at your friend's house. You got to teach your ADHD children how to keep up with their things, and teach them how to be more responsible consistently, because their brains are going to struggle with that. But yeah, I got so much that I can say in this. It's insane. I'm trying to stay on topic, but I keep going to the left on y'all. I'm telling you, it's so serious. Okay. ADHD symptoms in women. Another one: procrastinating and rushing to complete tasks at the last minute. Yeah. Not so much now. Every once in a while I'll struggle, but I've been practicing for so long. I've gotten to a place where I'm comfortable, and I have different things I bought to help myself memorize and remember what I need. Spacing out at meetings or in conversations all the time. Disassociation is something I suffer with as well. Often it helped me when I would be with my abuser when I was younger. Like I said, every day it wasn't like horrible. It wasn't horrible every day with him. It just was, when it was bad, it was pretty messed up. That's the challenging part. Because you know how I'm a parent now. And I would be in my feelings if my children got on a live and just talked about all the bad times and stuff like that. So I get it. But what I'm not about to do is lie. And because the information that I needed was not given to me, I had to learn the hard way. And I affected my children as a parent that didn't know I had ADHD, didn't know I had trauma bonds in my life, didn't know I was codependent, still leaning on my mother while I'm raising my children. Didn't know I was codependent to my sisters, at least 2 of them. Didn't know that I had a daddy wound. Like, listen, and I'm parent raising children with all that, ignorant. How many women you think are doing that? In denial. Oh, I'm fine, I do that. Girl, no you ain't. Let's ask the kids and move you out the room. Kids will tell you. You know what I'm saying? But I own all my stuff. I owned it to my children as well. Once I learned about myself, I set the record straight. So I'm not going to lead another generation of messed up, ignorant children into the world. No, I'm going to give them a head start on what area they may be dysfunctional in because of being exposed to me and my, I guess you could say, ignorant to the fact of what I was suffering from. You know what I mean? Another symptom, ADHD symptom you'll see in a woman: difficulty keeping organized or tidy at school, home, or work. It's open mind. Definitely. Disorganization was my middle name forever. If it wasn't for my mother teaching me organization, I don't know where I'd be. I'm going to keep it a bean. The struggle was real. Hello, Smart P Global Digital. It's nice to meet you. Thank you for all the love. I've been seeing what you've been saying. But baby, I'm married. I can't be cheating on my husband. That's thotty. How divorce was happening, that's different, but it's not. But I appreciate the support. I definitely do. And I know God is going to bring somebody that you deserve in your life. You know what I'm saying? Live your best life. That's the best thing you could do for yourself. Live your best life. Live honestly. And when you do that and find your purpose, once you find that, you're going to be living in a high vibration, and a woman is going to be attracted to that. See, when you're needy, you're looking for codependency, looking for somebody to lean on more than you're leaning on yourself, now you're a burden. That's not attractive to most women. You know what I mean? So just do that self-work, and you know, you'll attract, trust me, you'll attract somebody. But my mom's done. Her nails is popping, y'all. They blue and shiny. Get them, girl. So I got to get back to work. We'll continue this another time. I'm pretty impulsive with my lies. It's an ADHD thing, baby. But y'all have a wonderful day. And think about what I said. Share this video, too. It's good exposure to ignorance. Much love, y'all. I'll be back.